Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judy and you are watching Running So and So, and it's wonderful to have you here with me today on this absolutely beautiful sunny spring morning. I'm sat with my kitchen behind me, which I've tidied up, and a make on my mannequin, which is not normally here. I don't normally bring the mannequin down with me, but I brought her in today to show you a dress that I have recently finished, and I will come to that later on because I want to talk to you at length about it. But it is so sunny and lovely outside, and hopefully this afternoon I'm going to go out for a run. Now, for those of you that like to see Poppy and Maggie, they will feature, but at the end. I have Poppy and Maggie footage for you. So before I carry on, I want to say a massive thank you and a great big welcome to everyone who has recently subscribed to my channel. It means so much to me. Thank you so very much. It's really kind of you to do that. And also for everybody who has liked and commented and watched one of my videos. I am behind with my replying to comments. I don't know what happens, I just get over busy. But hey, it's better to be busy than not doing anything at all. So let's start with what I'm wearing. Now I'm wearing my Risac and I have just spotted that I have managed to spill some bleach on it. So it is now definitely a school top. But here it is, here is my Risac. It's got that beautiful kangaroo pocket on it, and it's got those beautiful dark features here and the lovely ribbing underneath. But this was the first one I made. As much as I love it, it has now got some bleach stains on it. This is what happens. Look, where's it gone? Look, can you see it? And I've got a couple more down there. I've got my running kit on underneath because we, as I say, we will be running this afternoon. So then, I have had a really busy sewing week. And look at this. I've got so much to talk to you about. I've actually made some notes. So let's get started. Let's start with deliveries because I have had some deliveries. And I've also got something here from me where I made the notes a minute ago. Let's start with deliveries. So the first delivery I have is I, like many people, bought from Katherine, who is Sewscription Makery, and she has done a de-stash in aid of Bliss. Now, for those of you that don't know, Katherine is running the London Marathon later this month, and she's doing it in aid of Bliss, which is for the care of children in special care units. And Sam, who is So Let's Sparkle with Sam, kindly donated fabric from her stash to be part of this de-stash. So, if I get this mem, it was Sam who very kindly sent out the fabric. So I chose this absolutely stunning jersey. It's got fire engines on, and you all know what I'm going to use that for. I shall be calling into Bugweeds later this week to get some matching ribbing. And I don't know whether I'm going to do the ringer tee or that lovely top that I like from Brindille and Twig. I can never remember what it's called. I need to look it up, but I'll put the name at the bottom. Sorry, should have written that one down, but I've got a note to show you the fabric. But I thought my boys could have a lovely fire engine top to wear over the summer. I need to probably check with the mums whether they want long sleeved or short sleeved. Now Sam very kindly put in a little bag of laundry beads, and it says, washing beads, add directly to your drum before your laundry. And thank you for supporting Katherine with another So Let's Sparkle with Sam sticker on the back there. And those laundry beads have already gone through my washing machine, so very sorry. I did the washing machine when they came last night and I just threw them in and then thought I need to show you them, so I've got this instead. So Sam very kindly also gifted me the pattern for her So Much Space tote bag. Now in the summer I am going back to America and I am going to visit something called the Space Needle in Seattle. So I think what better bag to take to the Space Needle than the So Much More Space tote bag. There is a bit of a pun there, Space Needle. Don't know if you got that or not. Maybe I was too cryptic. Anyway, I've also got a So Let's Sparkle sticker, and I have a plan of how I'm going to incorporate that into the bag. But what, you are asking, am I going to make the bag out of? And that brings me very nicely into some fabrics that I have bought on Saturday, which was the same day as the Yorkshire Gathering. And if you saw the pictures on Instagram, they looked as if everybody had the most fantastic time. I was busy elsewhere. I went to the Leeds Song Festival because I went to see this young gentleman here. There was a Bring and Sing with Gareth Malone. So I'm going to insert one picture that I took from a distance. I didn't go and ask for any selfies. I just didn't think it was appropriate. Tristan works for Leeds Song and Gareth knew that I was Tristan's mum, so I just thought, let's just leave it. But we had a lot of banter. Yep, there was a great bit of banter, and at one point I'd spotted my name come up in the Latin words and I jokingly mentioned it to him, and he kept teasing about this Judy Carr that kept coming up, which should be Judicarum, it's Yeducarum, and it made me giggle an awful lot. But when we came to the concert, I knew full well that Gareth Malone was going to look me in the eye and make me giggle. So I looked down at that point. So when you're singing or you're playing in an orchestra, because I play the oboe and I did do a lot of orchestral work when I was a lot younger, you memorise so much and then you look ahead. So I was looking at the words, but I looked up ahead of that. So he knew I was looking at him. But the minute we came to the difficult bits, if you know Fauré's Requiem, it's in the Liberame, which is movement 6. I looked down and then looked up again afterwards, and he said, you did that? And I said, I know, because you were going to make me laugh. Anyway, it was just the most fantastic evening. I could go on at length about it, but I don't know. In the moment, I've got some lovely memories, and that's what really, really is important. And it's reintroduced me to the art and love of singing, and I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed being in that musical environment. And when I was in Leeds, we walked past B&M Fabrics, and I said to Hannah, have we got time? And she said, yes, we have. So went into B&M Fabrics and I saw this fantastic fabric. I've repeated myself there. Anyhow, warts and all, here we go. So this is literally a travel-based fabric, and I thought, I need this for my So Much Space tote bag. I'm looking at it down there. This is the woman that kept saying Sew Blouse April rather than Sew April Blouse. So I'm looking at it now going, So Much Space tote bag. So I want to use this, whether I use this as the top fabric, the lining fabric, or whether I do what some people have done, and that's to change the bottom fabric. Because I think on the bottom of the bag, Sam gives you the option to put an extra panel at the bottom. I need to go in and have a look at that to make certain I've got everything, because inside is a quick QR. You've got all the instructions here, front and back. And here, yes, I'm being very careful not to show you this one here that's looking at me, because that's got the QR code on it to Sam's instructions and a little tutorial. So I just fell in love with that, and I thought, oh, that it would be absolutely beautiful for that. So I'm afraid I did actually buy that. But whilst there, I don't know if any of you have seen this new challenge that's out on Instagram at the moment. Hold on a minute, I'm going to check the name of it. Right, so this challenge is being run by Lucy, who is the Sewing Gardener on Instagram. And I'm going to put the link, her Instagram name here, the Sewing Gardener. And Lucy is running a challenge called Sew Skin Summer 25. So there you go, Sew Skin Summer 25. It's being run through the month of May, and I will be doing a vlog at the beginning of May to help launch that for Lucy. So the idea is that you make something that you can wear to cover yourself up, and this challenge is aimed at highlighting the protection that we need to take to prevent skin cancer and melanoma. So you're looking at making garments that cover up. It will all be covered in vlogs close to the time, but I saw this in B&M. Is that not just stunning? And that said to me, summer cover up. So there you go. 2 lovely pieces of fabric from B&M Fabrics in Leeds. Now, one other thing landed on my doorstep this week. I don't know if any of you saw Ruan's latest video, which is all about sewing tools and demonstrations. And I, to this day, do not know how I never found out about this thing any earlier. It's called the Purple Thang. Now, in the description box below is an excellent demonstration on how to use this by Ruan. So I'm not even going to start to demonstrate it. I'll just put the link there, go and watch Ruan doing it. But basically it allows you to push using this little end here. It allows you to push fabric through your foot and to guide it through. You've got another little one here to help guide and to poke out corners. You've also got an eye so you can thread with it as well. It is fantastic. So I have been saying for nearly 6 years, as I keep going on about, this has come out. How on earth did I not know about it? I mean, I knew about these things, but only because I saw them. But I didn't see that. And I think my biggest problem is I don't spend hours scrolling through the internet and scrolling through Amazon. But this landed on my doorstep. And if you've not got one, I'll put the link to them on Amazon. I don't have an affiliate link, but if you want to know where to find it, the link that I use to buy mine on Amazon is there, and I think I paid £3.95 for it. So there you go, well worth everything. Well, that's all that covered. I just stopped and I had a little think and thought, have I mentioned everything? Though the one thing I haven't mentioned is that I was talking about this fabric coming in aid of Katherine running the London Marathon and raising money for Bliss. I put the link to Katherine's Just Giving in the description box below, so if you feel that you would like to contribute, the link is just there. It's an absolutely worthy cause, and if you're not following Katherine over on Instagram, go and give her a follow, because she is documenting her training for the London Marathon. It's not an easy thing to do, to run 26 miles. I suppose, I'm not going to say I couldn't do it. I suppose if I put my mind to it, I could do it. But I enjoy the running I do, and I don't watch. I said running. I'm not going out running yet. I do not know why it's in bark mode. I didn't put it in bark mode. Anyhow, I have made a lovely new dress, and here's, I'm going to go to the side, and I'm really sorry if I'm not looking at the screen properly. This is the Envie Dress by Coralie Biasson Patterns. I'm going to put it just here, the Envie Dress by Coralie Biasson Patterns. It's in the description box. It'll be towards the top. Now, the Envie Dress, I bought it online and it cost me €9.90 to buy, and it was a PDF. So on this occasion I decided to print my pattern at home, which I really don't mind doing actually, because I find sticking them together quite therapeutic. And it also allows, if you're thinking you're going to need to grade between the sizes, if you print in layers, and if the pattern allows you to print in layers, it will actually give you that little layer symbol. I'll try and do a picture of it and put the layer symbol just in here so you can see what you're looking for. And then you only it lets you print what you want. But you have to be careful though, when you take off the sizes. If you take everything off, you can actually take off the instructions, because I did that on one pattern for something and there were no instructions. I think it was on a Brindille and Twig one. And I thought, where are the instructions? You know, where's the pattern piece names? And because I'd said take everything off, it took that off as well. So the Envie Dress. I made this using the fabric from box 36 from the Beyond the Pink Door Sewscription box. And it is a beautiful Ponte fabric, and it has a lovely weight and a lovely drape. So when I'd done my unboxing and I took some time to check what patterns I could use, I went on Coralie's website, because she has got a fantastic range of different patterns that use less fabric, because this one we only got 2 meters of, and I needed to make certain I was going to share a pattern that everybody that watched the video could access. So I was very mindful of making certain that I checked all the sizes that she offered, and then I also checked blouses and checked options. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put in here a picture of the front cover of the pattern. Now it shows that you can actually have lots of different styles. I have chosen to do a little tie at the front, but you could just have a little loop over at the front if you wish to. You can have this as a sleeveless top, a sleeveless dress, a short sleeve dress, a short sleeve blouse, and there's lots of options. You can have a slightly gathered sleeve, as I have got here, or you can have a flat sleeve. It's a pattern with so many options. So if you wanted to make a t-shirt alternative, you could just do it cropped here and just have shorter sleeves. It's a really versatile pattern. So for my €9.90, I've got a lot of pattern for my buck. So that was an excellent start for it. Now, the instructions, and again, so the instructions from the website tell you the weight of fabric that they're looking for to make this pattern at its best, and it's suggesting you need a fabric that's 150 to 300 grams per square metre, or 4.5 to 8 ounces per 2 yards. It also, on the very front page, tells you the seam allowance, and you need to always check that seam allowance. It also gives you an idea of what you need to use for the quantity. Now, when I checked this just on the straight website, it gave me an idea, but here on this table, it's broken down into sections. It takes a little bit of studying, and I still got my head around it, so I'm just going to show you it so that if anybody decides to go for this pattern, which I'm recommending, in case you hadn't gathered, because look at this dress, isn't it just stunning? Would you like to see me in it? Look at that. That picture was taken when I was at Leeds Song on Saturday night. I absolutely love it. So I'm trying to work it out, and I think what it's doing, it works out backwards, that it tells you the larger sizes first, then the smaller sizes, and then it tells you what you need for sleeves. And also you need a piece of rubberized elastic to go around the neck. Let me show you. Elastic like this, it's got this rubber elastic, and it needs to be a narrow one, and that's what it doesn't tell you. You need a narrow soft elastic, not one of the, this is 10 millimeters and it's a lot harder, so you don't need elastic like that, you just need the narrow soft elastic, and that's all on this table. The next page, I'm going through the instructions here, the next page are your measurements. Now, it's really, really vital that you measure yourself and just ignore those finished measurements. Those finished measurements are there to tell you how much ease you've got. So you would take the bust measurement away from the finished measurement, and that, what is left, is your ease. The ease will allow you movement and space to breathe. If you want to find out more about ease, there's a link below to the latest edition of the Love to Sew podcast on ease. Now, there is a little note at the bottom of the measurements page, and it does, I don't know if this is online, which is why I'm telling you. It does say, in general, realise the size you buy. And again, it says MB, the seam allowances. So that's twice they've mentioned the seam allowances already. So they're suggesting you go for the size you buy. It's always, always key that you go for you measure yourself, have a think of the size you buy. Don't look at those finished measurements at all, because you could, if you make to your finished measurements, you're not going to have any ease. You must make to the actual measurements on the garment to allow yourself space to breathe. Now, the instructions for this dress are ridiculously clear, unbelievably clear, and here I will try and hold up some pages for you to see. I'm just going through the cutting pages here. So let's start. I'm going to hold it back and hope to goodness it does not blur. There we go. I'm not going to go too far. And here, the first thing that they're talking about here is putting in some pleats at the neckline. So to start with here, we've got 3 little pleats at the front of the dress, and they are beautiful, but you will need to use a tailor's tack. And here are 2 pictures. Here's the first one of me having done the tailor's tacks, and here's the second one just before I took the tailor's tacks out. And to remove them, I just use a pair of eyebrow plucking or hair plucking tweezers, because they've got flat ends, not tiny, tiny sharp pointy ends. They've got the flat ends, the ones you pull your hair out with, because pulling a tailor's tack out is like pulling out a piece of hair. And this is a lined yoke. So you not only have to do this on this side, you also have to do it on the inside. You have to do it on both together. I opted for the knot finish rather than the buckle over finish. That's not as neat as it was before. I think if I did it again, I'd probably not go for the knot because the knot is actually quite bulky. I'd probably just go for the flat. And it's really important that you don't, when you do this up, pull it tight, because otherwise you're going to pull up the front of the dress. So look, if you pull this bit tight, you're going to be pulling up the dress and you're going to make the hem uneven. It needs to be a nice flat finish to it. Trying to remember how I did this the first time round. They then go on to tell you about the elastic that needs to be inserted around the neckline here. And again, there are very clear instructions. But as with all instructions, I always read, and it's going to make me sound like I think I'm an absolute saint, but I read the instructions first. So on my next make that I will share with you in my next vlog, you will understand why I'm going on so much about reading the instructions, because I discovered something that was essential before I even put the pattern together that I picked up at that point. Had I not read the instructions and gone through and cut out, I'd have missed out something incredibly vital. So reading those instructions, reading ahead, we might know how to put elastic round here, but you've got to remember that the designer's got a vision for how they think this garment needs to go together. So you insert some elastic, and they suggest you insert it with your overlocker. Now I have taken off my overlocker foot because I had great fun doing this, and then somebody on one of the virtual sewings I was on said there's a little hole at the top of that, just here, just feed the elastic through that. And I thought, oh my gosh, why did I not think of that? So the lovely thing about this particular jersey pattern is it switches between you using a lightning stitch and using the overlocker. But don't forget, if you've not got an overlocker, you can always use a zigzag stitch. I actually thought it was quite good because there are quite a few sewists out there that are fortunate enough to have an overlocker and a sewing machine. So it's really lovely to see an overlocker instruction within your patterns. Actually, before I go any further, look at this at the beginning of the pattern instructions. She's actually telling you about your lightning stitch and your needle. It's just lovely to have that absolute clarity in the instructions. I did need to make a little alteration to this. I did have to lift these shoulders because they were very, very loose. They were falling off because there's nothing of me around here. I am really, really skinny at this particular point. I know I've lost weight and I've kept this weight off now for nearly a year, so I'm feeling very proud of myself. But even beforehand, I do have a sloping shoulder and it is always been very, very narrow. So I have to be very careful on the fit on the shoulders. I never really talk about the alterations that I make because I don't really want to go on about my size. But on this one I did, and because it's a very narrow shoulder, I would recommend that everybody tries on the bodice before you put on the skirt or the sleeves in, and just double check how that fits on your shoulder, that it's not going to fall off. And I literally went from here to here, and I had to taper it in, and I had to take an extra centimetre off each side of the shoulder. So that was done there. So would I recommend this dress to everybody? Well, I think you might actually know the answer to that. I'm just going to put in another picture of me wearing the dress at Leeds Song on Saturday night. And I have to say, it is the most incredibly comfortable dress. And I think I would love to make it again, but make it as I think that would be lovely to make it as a blouse pattern. The instructions, as I've said, are incredibly straightforward to follow, and she covers absolutely everything. So over the next few weeks, I've got a couple more patterns from Coralie Biasson that I want to make. I think they are not the most well-known pattern brand, but they are starting to pop up on the fold line as well. But the link I'll put down below to buy the pattern, it's direct from the website. I try and buy direct from these small pattern brands if I can, because then the money goes straight in and there's not a third party to purchase from. So, what else have I been doing? I have been slowly catching up with the patchwork, which I am way behind with. But hey, it doesn't matter. it will get caught up. So, block of the month 2, this is, and we had 4 to do. So I've done some of them, there were 4 long panels like this to do. And this is why I think called this twisted rope. So this is the first one I did, and this was the one I needed to finish. So I finished that this week, and I used my Purple Thang to help guide through the seam allowances. I've not ironed it yet, but I am a bit of a fuss pot because I do try and get my points exactly tight as I can. The other thing I am failing drastically with at the moment is the embroidery, but in my sewing diary, which I have shown you in the past, I am writing down something I do every single day, and I'm going on a train journey this next weekend, and on the train journey and where I'm staying for a few days, I will have plenty of time to catch up with the embroidery. I am nearly at a month out. I lost it when Ruan came. I had to focus on a friend here. So that is what I've been doing. Oh, the only other thing I was going to say is I have been enjoying my sewing time whilst watching a few fantastic vloggers, and I've been watching Sam and Ruan and Beck and Tamlin and Mandy, and I've thoroughly, and Rachel from the French Scenes, thoroughly enjoying all your content. It's been absolutely wonderful. I'm sure I've watched a lot more. Cara, Christine, the Gemini Stitcher, there's too many to list. Adam from Adam Sews. I've been enjoying all their content. Oh, and Gina from Gina Scenes. Keep thinking of another one and another one and another one. But it has been a lovely sewing week. I had a lovely Mothering Sunday shift up at Castle Howard, which was fantastic. And I'm just going to pop in some footage now of me taking the girls for a walk around Castle Howard. Just going to put it up with some music. There was a beautiful swan's nest, and the nest looks as if it's floating in the water. And there's some frog spawn and some toads and some frogs. It was just the most wonderful walk, and it finishes off with my 2 having a little wash in the local beck. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend some time with me today. And if you haven't subscribed, just click the little button and join me on this journey. So I'm going to say goodbye now and let Poppy and Maggie take you out. See you later. Bye bye.